Trish Kinane was driving the Idol bus this week. Scott Borchetta was giving her directions on the GPS, and they were going directly for the corner of Mackenzie and Borg.
I really don't understand what happened.
They stopped short of just saying, "We hate you as a human being."
I don't know that I loved how you Mackenzied it.
I'm not a fan of that.
I hated the arrangement. I really did.
You know what? At the end of the day, we're rooting for you.
On the Sia song, when she asked him to go for that note.
Are you sure you can't hit that high note? Because I feel like you can. What happens when you do it?
Not good stuff.
And he did, and it was gorgeous the way he did it.
I'm titanium.
That's beautiful.
So it was a good note for her to say to him.
Yes.
And then Harry to do his entire critique on that one note.
What really irritates me is how this is when this competition turns into an ice skating competition.
We heard Sia's note. We loved that Mackenzie took her note and hit the note.
She'll be down, but I won't fall. I'm titanium.
And we enjoyed the entire performance. It wasn't about just one note, and Harry just like droned on and on.
If I were you in that mentoring session, I wouldn't have made it. It's not about a note. It's about the song.
Like a nasty middle school librarian with a hooked, curled finger and just shaking it in our face.
Just sing what you want to sing. Hit the note, don't hit the note.
And I was just like, just shut up. And not everything needs to be chocolate mousse. He's apple crumble. It's a different flavor and it's a different texture. His crumbly falsetto is a pretty thing.
Also, I would have missed it had he never done the melody on the chorus. I understood him changing it, and I liked the change also, but I would have missed it had he not done that at least one time.
I don't think you should make it about that. You're smarter than that.
It felt bogus and it felt producer fed to me. It felt like this is the week we're gonna come down hard on Mackenzie and make sure that everyone understands that he is number 4 in the pecking order. I don't think it had anything to do with what he did vocally. I just think it was total BS.
You know what? At the end of the day, we're rooting for you.
I actually feel that out of the people who are not LaPortia and not Trent, who I think absolutely have to be in the top 3, based on their body of work and what they did this week, I think Mackenzie should round out the final 3. He has a stronger body of work than Dalton, and I think his performances this week were slightly better. I Want You to Want Me was not great.
No, I didn't care for that one as much.
His voice just kept getting swallowed by the band, and I know he's not the biggest, beltiest singer. I'm fine. I listen to a lot of singers that aren't big and belty, but be careful about arranging and structuring in a way that you're being swallowed.
I'm imagining you chose to make it halftime, and there's a risk involved with that.
It was him in opposition to the band, not with the fact that he wasn't doing it in double time.
I don't think I wanted to hear him do that in double time, first of all. Maybe he just should have picked a different song.
If he'd done it straight up karaoke, that would have been no bueno.
And they've been asking him to Mackenzie things, like to change it up, and so then he does.
You Mackenzied it. I don't know that I loved how you Mackenzied it.
When he Mackenzies a song, he normally puts it in halftime. Like, that's his thing. Like, it's kind of his go-to. So when they ask him to do that and he does it, and then they're like, I don't know if I like that you changed it. Well, it's what you were asking for.
For me, it wasn't the best. It wasn't as exciting as I wanted it to be, knowing that song.
There's
Yes,
that.
speaking of asking for it.
Uh-oh.
You just used Mackenzie as a verb, and it just reminded me of J-Lo. You just took me back there to a place.
I would have loved to hear what you did originally before, mentor.
She doesn't remember that they're all 15-year-olds. She doesn't remember how she treated Haley. She doesn't remember Stevie Van Zant's name.
Cheap trick.
Steven.
No. Yes.
Steven.
Yeah.
That felt really disrespectful to me. Like, he's come on, mentored these kids, done a kick-ass job of it, and you can't...
Mentor.
Was that intentional? Was she throwing shade?
I'm trying to not think that that was intentional.
Like Mariah Carey, that one time she was interviewed about J-Lo, and she was like, I don't know who that is. Now that's shade on an epic level.
Shade.
I wish that Mariah had been an Idol judge.
Mentor.
All you had to do was name 2 people. 2 of
One of
them
them only has one name, and it's 3 letters. Like Sia, you've got that. You've got
And
Sia on lock, because it's only 3 letters.
You didn't even have to say his whole name. You just had to say Stevie.
Cheap trick.
Steven.
No. Yes.
Steven.
Yeah.
Sia is 2 syllables. That's tough.
You should write it down. That's all I'm saying.
Also, can you imagine if Mean Mariah had judged Lazaro Arbos during that season? When Lazaro got done singing, she could have just been like, I don't know who that is. I want to reboot Idol in 2 years with that Mariah as the head judge. She could sit in a bubble bath with a glass of champagne and rate stuff. Like, I think if she got a little crunk, she could be a great
shade
judge.
Everybody.
Patti LaBelle and Aretha Franklin and get like just a wall of truth, a wall of ugly truth.
Yes, a wall of shade. Should we start that new show?
Wall of shade. They could judge everything. It doesn't even have to just be singing. We should be in charge of television. I would watch Little Big Shots if the Wall of Shade was judging those children.
You can't.
Patti LaBelle, get that child away from me. Mariah Carey, I don't even see anything on stage. I don't see anything.
Let's do it.
Are the children judged on Little Big Shots? Or do they just get to do their thing? No one's judging them?
They just show their talent. Michael, be nice to these kids.
Not everyone gets an A+ in life.
Little Big Shots is just to show that there are kids with talent, like great talents, okay?
Someone has to win, otherwise I'm not watching. Let's talk about Dolan. Speaking of Wall of Shade, I thought he had a pretty good week, but I think he is the correct 4th place finisher for this season. I think he's going to survive the cut next Thursday, but I think he should finish 4th.
I have a voice, hear me roar tonight, you held me down, but I fought back loud.
I thought Bird Set Free got overpraised by the judges.
I don't know what it sounded like at home, but I sure liked it in here.
It was emotional. I think combined with his backstory from last week, talking about struggling with bipolar disorder, it felt really emotional and raw. But I didn't think the vocal was that great, and I think the vocal still has to count, and I think the judges completely ignored it.
After Dalton's first song, when Harry was like...
It wasn't about being a strong vocal, it was about you getting completely into those lyrics, and I thought you did a good job at that.
In a singing competition, that can't be true. It shouldn't be true.
It may be true, but it shouldn't be true.
There's something to say about emotion taking over a performance. Like, I'm not against that, and I'm not against some impurities in your vocal because of that. But when the majority of the vocal is impure, then I have to say, you're going to have to learn how to control your emotions just a little bit more than that.
But I don't care if I sing off key, I find myself in my melodies.
If your emotions do that, then maybe singing is not the thing for you.
I feel like a lot of times, even in God Only Knows, which I thought was a pretty good vocal, but I feel like as I'm watching him perform, where he's walking, the look that he makes to the camera, the emotion that he's bringing to it have all been planned in advance. It doesn't mean that there's not genuine emotion happening, but I think he's always thought about where that lands.
I feel like he is very calculated in his movements and in what exactly he does with the song, and I don't necessarily fault that, because as an artist, it's kind of cool when you have some artists that are very calculated about how their show works. I think what we don't want is for you to calculate emotion. He may have calculated it a bit. It's possible. But then I think it took over, and he wasn't ready for that. So...
Should we talk about The Voice? Take me to The Voice for a minute. Who'd you love this week?
I mean, let's say that Curly Sue obviously dominated. Now, I'm going to be really honest and say, even though she dominated, like, it was a little much for me. And that's coming from me, who likes holleration.
I went for a walk on a winter's day.
In the moment, I was like, that's damn impressive. She can do anything. But then afterwards, I was like, I think that was a little more than I don't think I really enjoyed that in a way that I enjoyed Blue Bayou. Blue Bayou was sublime, subtle perfection.
Battle rounds are set up to make people oversing and kind of just butt heads as they're doing it. It made her try to do too much. And so I'm looking forward to hearing her in the knockout rounds where she can just be her and kill it like she does.
Yeah. I liked Adam Wakefield this week on Can't You See?
Gonna climb a mountain, the highest mountain.
he's very soulful and he's pretty spot on pitch wise. Like, I think he's one to watch. You know what I loved was Brittany Kennel on The Chain.
Oh, well. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Run in the shadow. Damn your love, damn your life.
Now, if that song got performed as much as Against All Odds or I Have Nothing, I would have no issue with it. The Chain is so good.
Down comes the night.
Damn Your Love, Damn Your Lies. Did you not love that?
I mean, yeah.
You should add that to your set.
No.
There's an epic bass line in the middle, like a breakdown.
Great.
You would slaughter that. We better cut, but we're gonna talk about you adding the Chain.
Fill my wall of shade. Do you? It's right here.
The mentor.